So this is your question where you have to just reduce the number to 1. Okay, what is the question? I'm just going to explain here. So our question is that you have to give a number n. So you have to reduce this number n to 1 with some step. You can take any step, like you can add any number, you can differentiate any number, you can divide with any number, so you can multiply with any number, you can take any step. You have to just reduce this number. This n can be even, can be odd. Okay, so I'm just explaining with example. What I'm saying is, like, if n can be even and odd, so you can take n equal to 5 and you can take n equal to 4. You have to reduce this number from 5 to 1. So how you can take in odd case, this is odd, this is even. In odd case, you can take two steps, like you can differentiate with minus, you can add 1, you can take a difference with 1 and you can add with 1. Okay, you can decrease with 1, you can add with 1. Okay, when you decrease with 1, then you get 4, and increase with 1, then you get 6. Okay, and when you decrease again, then in even case, what you have to do, you can every time in even case you have to divide with 2. You don't to take any other, you don't take any tension, you don't need to go anywhere, you just divide this number with 2. Okay, then you divide with 2 again, then you get 1, and then you take 3 steps, you take 2 steps, and you take only 2 steps to reduce 1. Okay, but in the odd case, how many steps? You just take a 4 step, 1 2 3, you take 3 steps to reduce 5 to 1. Okay, but when you increase with 1, then you take how many steps? Then you take I think you take plus 1, and there minus 1, and there are plus 1, 4, and then this divided by 2, this divided by 1. Okay, so in this case, you just divide by 6, and then you divide with 3 with 2, and then you get 3, and then you get plus 1, then you 4. So every time you take a many step, like here 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3. So every time you take some number of step to reduce this number to 1. Okay, but in even case, always you have to divide with 2. But in odd case, you have to just 2 option. In odd case, you have only 2 options, like you can increase with 1, you can decrease with 1. Okay, but in the even case, you have only 1 option, like you can divide with this number with 2. Okay, so you have to reduce this number to 1 with this minus 1 and plus 1. So how you can decide that we have to use minus 1 or plus 1? How you can decide? So this is your question, that in even case you have to replace n with n by 2, but in odd case you can replace n with either n minus 1 or n plus 1. This is your constraints. If I'm saying any other thing, then the other thing is wrong. This case is fine. Okay, but like what type of operation you have to allow? This, if n is even, then you have to replace n with n by 2, and if n is odd, then you can replace n with n minus 1 or n plus 1. You have to decide. You have to only put a condition for n is odd. Okay, because in even case, you know that every time you have to divide with 2, but in odd case, you have to decide that you take minus step, yeah, or you take plus step. So I'm just explaining which type of step you have to take according to our generalized theorem. Generalized theorem in the sense, you have to generalize the thing according to our step. So we have 4 type of number, like 4x plus 1, 4x plus 2, 4x plus 3. When you count the 4 number, then this step is count like 1 2 3 4. Okay, so in this, what type of things you can get? There are only what I'm saying, if you take 4 numbers, then you find out 2 number is odd and 2 is even. Okay, so in this question again, so in this question, this number is odd, this number is odd and this number is odd. Okay, this number is odd and this number is odd and this number is even. So it will take always n by 2. It will take always n by 2, but this number have decide which type of step you have to follow. Which type of step you have to follow, you have to decide by how you have only 2 options. You have to decide that where you have to want. So how you can decide? This is the logic. How you can decide? And in this case also you have to decide. Okay, so how we can decide? I'm just going to explain you. Okay, so in this 4x plus 1 case, what you have to do, and what you have to do in this 4x plus 3 case. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to explain is that you can take minus 1 step and you can take plus 1 step. Okay, so in this case, you take minus 1 step and then you reach 4x. And you reach that 4x plus 2, then this is an even, so you have to just divide with 2, then you get 2x, and then also you have to divide with 2, then you get x. Okay, and in this case, you only one option that you can divide this. Okay, you get 2x plus 1, and then you have 2 options. You can take minus 1, you can take plus 1. You take minus 1 and you have 2x, and you get 2x plus 2, and then you get this is even, so you get x, and you get x plus 1. Okay, so finally you got x here and you got x here and you got x plus 1 here. Okay, so I'm going to say one thing. Anywhere, any stage, if you got x comma x plus 1 after in the reducing time, when you are just reducing a number, then you get anywhere, anytime you get x or x plus 1, then you can decide that which type of digit each advantageous. What I'm saying is, if you're reducing this 4x plus 1 to x, yeah, or x plus 1, then you can decide that our x is advantage or our x plus 1 is advantage. What I'm saying, x is advantage or x plus 1 is advantage, we can decide. How we can decide? You can take 15 and you can take 16. If x is 15 and x plus 1 is 16, then which is advantage? Advantage means what? Advantage means the minimum step to reduce the 1. If you take a minimum step to reduce any number to 1, then this is the advantage. Like 16 takes a minimum step to reduce the 1. Okay, like if 16, then you can take 8, you can take 4, divide by 2, then take 2, then reduce 1. Okay, so it will take only 4 steps to reduce 1. But when you take x like 15, then it takes many numbers. Like it will take 16, then it takes 4. Okay, so it takes 5 steps. If this is x and then this is x plus 1, so x plus 1 is advantageous. X plus 1 is advantageous as compared to x. So if the x plus 1 is advantageous, then x is not advantageous. So when you reduce any number to x or x plus 1, then anyone can be advantageous. You just check this example. No? 50 in the 50 and 16, the 50 is x and 60 is x plus 1. And when you're reducing 4x plus 1 to x and x plus 1, then x or x plus 1, anyone can be advantageous. So you cannot decide that x is advantageous, x plus 1 is not advantageous. You have to decide, you can't decide that x is advantageous or x plus 1 is advantageous. Okay, so you have to just reduce the number. Okay, you have to just reduce the number. Okay, so you doesn't know that x can be advantageous or x plus 1 can be advantageous. Somehow, suppose x is advantageous. Then how many steps you have to take to reach the x? If you decrease this number with 1, then you take only 3 steps. To reach the x. If x is advantageous, it means x to 1 you take one minimum step as compared to x plus 1. If suppose x is advantageous, so x is taking minimum step to reach 1. And if you use minus 1 with 4x plus 1, then it takes only 3 steps to reach this x. If you take a minimum step to reach this x, and if you take a minimum step to x to reach 1, then this path will be advantageous, because you take 4 steps by adding 1. In this side you take 4 steps to, in this stage you take 4 steps to reach this x. This path is not valid. Then the increasing path is not valid. When you add 1 with this value, then this path is not valid for reaching this x, for reaching this at x position, at x value. When you add the 1 in this variable, then this path is not valid. Then this path is not advantageous. Why? Because this will take 4 steps to reach x, and this will take 3 steps to reach x. So this path, so minus 1 is better. Minus 1 is better to reduce the any number to x. Okay, but if x plus 1 is advantageous, when x plus 1 is advantageous, then it takes only 4 steps. And also in this area also you can take 4 steps. So whatever you decide what I'm saying, if x plus 1 is advantageous, then it takes 4 steps and also it takes 4 steps. What I'm saying is, if x is advantageous, then you take this step. Why? Because it takes 3 steps. So every time you take 3. If x is advantage, in this case you have every time you take this step, minus 1 step. Okay, but if x plus 1 is advantageous, in both case you take same step. So if we talk about the both cases, which is better? I want to say minus 1 is better. Why? Because it care for x every time. And also it care for x plus 1. Because this step is care for x and also x plus 1. Why? Because in the time of x, there are always x advantages. Because it takes only 3 steps for x, but it takes more steps for x. but at the time of x plus 1 both is giving a same step. In the time of x plus 1 both giving a same step. So so in this scenario minus 1 is better approach. Minus 1 will be a better approach. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm saying, that if you take x as advantage, then minus 1 will be good. Okay, minus 1 will be always good. X plus 1 is not good. X plus 1 is not good. Why? Because it takes 4 steps. But at the time of x plus 1, what I'm saying, at the time of x plus 1, what is your better approach? One second. At the time of x, okay, so at the time of x, what is your better approach? At the time of x, our better approach is like this x plus 1. Okay, so what I'm saying is, if you add this one, okay, if you add this one, then what happened? Then x plus 1, like this is x minus 1. Okay, so so if you take x, then add plus 1. What I'm saying is, in this step you take plus 1. Okay, you take plus 1, and then if you decrease this one, what I'm saying is, like, if you take one step, okay, so like this is minus 1, this is plus 1. Okay, so when you decrease this x with plus 1, okay, so you take two steps, minus 1, and you take plus 1. Okay, so which step is better? I'm deciding here now. But when you take negative step, then you can reach x plus 1 in a same manner, in a 4 step. But when you take plus 1 step, then you also take 4 step. But this is not valid for x. In the time of x, you take only a more step as compared to this. You take 4 step as compared to this. You take 3 step as compared to this. Okay, so this x will be better at the time of decreasing. So at the stage of 4x plus 1, you have to always decrease the value. With 1. Okay, so I hope you understand everything. So but the second stage is 4x plus 3. Second stage is 4x plus 3. Okay, so in this stage what you have to do? In this stage you have to decrease the value with 4x minus. You have two steps. In this stage what you have to do? In this stage you have two stages. 4x plus 3. You can decrease the value, like you can decrease with minus 1, you can increase with plus 1. This is 4x plus 2 and this is 4x plus 4. Okay, after that what you have to do? After that you have two options. Like first option is like 2x plus 1. Okay, and second option is like sorry, in this stage this is our even case. Okay, so you have only one option. Okay, so after that you have two options, 2x plus 2. One second. After that you have two options, 2x plus 2 and 2x plus 4. Sorry, there are 2x because you decrease the value now, and then x. And in this option you have to got x plus 2, 2x plus 1. Okay, sorry, x plus 2. Sorry, here 2x plus 2. Sorry, there are 2x plus 2, I think. Okay, and after that you got x plus 1. Okay, in this case what you have to do? You should divide with 2 and then you get 2x plus 2, and then you take again 2 and then you get x plus 1. Okay, so you take only 4 steps to reach here. So you take only 3 steps. You take only 3 steps to reach at x plus 1. But here you take 4 steps to reach x plus 1. Here you take 4 steps to reach x plus 1, and here also you take 4 steps to reach x. Okay, so in this case what you have to do? In this case you don't know x is advantageous or x plus 1 is advantageous. You don't know now x is advantageous or x plus 1 is advantageous. But you have to decide. How you can decide that minus 1 will be better or x plus 1 will be better? So if x plus 1 is advantageous, then this step is better. Why? Because it takes only 3 steps to reach at this stage, and it will be take only 4 steps. So this step is better for x plus. If x plus 1 is advantageous, then if what I'm saying, if x plus 1 is advantageous, then plus 1 is better approach. Why? Because it takes only 4 steps. It takes only 3 steps. But in case x is advantageous, then 4x plus 3 is taking only how many steps? It takes only 4 steps. But minus 1 will take also 4 steps. Minus 1 will take also 4 steps when x is advantageous. Okay, but x in the time of x plus 1, minus 1 will take 4 steps. This is not good. If x plus 1 is advantageous, if x is advantageous. Okay, so this is your 4 case. Like if x plus 1 is advantageous, then it takes only 3 steps, so it will be better. If x is advantageous, then it will take 4 steps, and also it will take 4 steps. So better, what is better? What is better according to you? This plus 1 is better. Why? Because it will valid in both case. It will give a good answer, a same answer in both case. Okay, not same answer, not it give a perfect answer in both cases. It give a perfect answer in both cases. Okay, so plus 1 will be a better approach. Okay, so I hope you understand. And the edge case is also presented in this case. Like if n equal to 3, if n equal to 3, then you have to only take a minus 1. Why? Because it will take only one step to reduce 1. When you take 1 plus 1, then it will take 4, then 2, then 2, then 1. It take only 3 steps. So you have to only reduce when your remainder is 3. Okay, so this is your edge case. I hope you understand. So now I'm going to explain. Now I'm going to code it. Okay, so now I'm going to code this problem. So now, so what you have to do, you have to just take a count equal to 0, int count equal to 0, and then what you have to do, you have to just put a while loop, and then what you have to do, you have to just check n is not equal to 1 till you have to operate. Okay, till you have to operate. So what you have to operate is like what you have to operate. Okay, so if n%2 equal to 0, if n%2 equal to 0, then what would you do? You have to always n divide by 2. Why? Because in even case you have to always divide with 2. Okay, in even case you have to always divide with 2. Else if n equal to 3, else if n equal to 3, what you have to do? You have to reduce this number with n minus 1. Why? Because this is your edge case. But else if n percentage 4, else if n percentage 4 equal to 1, then what you have to do? In this case you have to reduce this number with n minus 1. Why? Because this will is a better approach. Okay, sorry, you have to just decrease this value with 1. Okay, after that what you have to do, when you take else if n percentage 4 equal to 3, then you have to increase the value with n equal to n plus 1. Okay, so this is your better. Okay, and every time you just increase the case. Okay, and then after that you have to just return the count. Okay, so I hope you understand everything. So I'm just going to run it, this question, accept it and submit it. So this is submitted. So what I'm saying is, like if in the case of 4x plus 3, plus 1 is advantageous. Why? Because it takes only minimum step. And in case of 4x minus 3, minus 1 is advantageous. Why? Because, sorry, 4x plus 1 case minus 1 is advantageous because it takes only, it is valid for both cases. Okay, so I hope you understand everything. So thank you so much.